Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
Can we turn his microphone on? There we go.
All right. Good morning.
We should say, in terms of full disclosure, you've been on the show numerous times. You're going to join us weekly now on Wednesdays, right?
Yes.
And you being a Michigan grad, me being a Nebraska grad, we're both Big Ten guys.
Big Ten guys.
Problem is, you paid for a Big Ten education. I paid for a Big 8 education, but I got a Big Ten education.
Yeah. So you got a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. All right, there you go. A new study came out. You passed me this. It's kind of interesting. Obesity in women are on the rise. What's going on with obesity in women?
Well, I think the study was just kind of looking at the last several year trends, and it didn't just talk about women. So, the first thing we'll say is the obesity rates in men stayed flat. Mm-hmm. So the bad news is they didn't go down. The good news is they didn't go up. Now you bring out the bad news part of the study, which is the obesity rates in women are seemingly increasing. And so obesity rates in women are about 40% now, and 35 to 37% in men. This is the population is starting to weigh more and more and more, and these are the trends that we're seeing, I think, when we walk around.
It's pretty scary when 40% of the women in America are considered obese.
That's correct. And now people can nitpick that a little bit, and they say, well, the definition of this height and weight and stuff,
right.
That's
body
not quite
mass
true.
index and whatever else.
So I wouldn't necessarily totally stress the 40% concept, but I think we do way more as a society than we did 5 years ago,
right.
And that part I would say is not good.
Which leads us into our second thing, because now people are taking drugs for type 2 diabetes. So what's this about?
So obesity does cause an increased predilection toward developing type 2 diabetes or trouble with your sugar. The good news is there's new drugs being developed that are showing some pretty profound benefits. And so metformin is the drug that's universally considered a frontline drug of everybody who has this type 2 diabetes. They need to be on this. And they've been searching for a second drug to kind of help lower those sugar rates, but also have great effects overall. And these new types of drugs that are coming out are really showing that. They're showing that people with diabetes and taking metformin, when they add this drug on top of it, they live longer, they have fewer heart attacks and fewer strokes. And those things are great benefits on top of controlling your diabetes.
But we should say that if you change your diet and exercise, you could get off these drugs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so the whole concept still is to try to become what we would call normal glycemic, or have a blood sugar as if you didn't have diabetes.
Right.
And
yeah.
if that's because of your weight or your lifestyle, then there's opportunities there.
Which leads us to our last topic here, Dr. Lim, is that strokes. Speaking of lifestyle versus genetics, now there's new studies saying out that strokes are based in part on lifestyle.
Well, this study that we're talking about was very provocative because it said upwards of 90% of strokes were controllable or preventable by lifestyle changes. Things like increasing physical activity, not developing diabetes, not smoking. It's remarkable that if you think about it, 90% of all strokes could potentially be preventable. That's a huge number. And strokes are, as you know, very, very devastating. And I think most people, that's one of the things that they would prefer never to get.
Yeah. You mentioned smoking. I know you've been on the show numerous times talking about smoking, and you're a big anti-smoker and promote it as much as you can. There's going to be 2 cigarette taxes on the ballot. Studies show time and time again that when you raise cigarette taxes, smoking goes down.
Well, yeah. So the problem with this area is that we have the lowest cigarette tax in the entire country. And sometimes, in some ways, it's good to be number one. In this way, it's not necessarily. I think we've talked before, though, in terms of legislating against healthy behavior or good behaviors. I'm not a huge fan of basically putting a law there that says, oh, we're going to help people become healthier because we know better. I think the bottom line is smoking is an issue. that translates into people's health not being as good because they develop a higher risk of heart attacks and strokes and cancers. And if we could decrease smoking rates, however, by awareness, by potential taxes, by however we want to put forward, we're going to be a healthier community.
Dr. Michael Lim, his debut here as a regular on the Big 550 KTRS. You are a cardiologist, and you're at St. Louis University Hospital. Thank you very much for coming in.
All right, have a great day.
You got it. 822 here, Big 550 KTRS.